I have been on a magnificent adventure that I can't wait to tell you about. Hi, this is Dr. Anita with another diamond moment. The diamonds of our lives are produced through time, heat, and pressure. But it is what we do with these moments in life that determine the value of what we're learning. Becoming is a process, and that process has stages. And I, as Dr. Anita, am not exempt from the stages that we all go through. So I have been on an extended adventure. Why do I preface it that way? Because it's not necessarily what I thought I'd be doing, but I can definitely see the benefit in what I'm doing, where I'm going, what I'm learning, and the fact that I am not exempt from the learning opportunities that we all get as human beings living a spiritual existence in a linear world. One of the things that you guys know about me, if nothing else, is that I came from a Christian perspective for the most part. My family was not overly religious. So while my brother and I were brought up to have respect for the things of God, we were not necessarily given a direct way in order to show that respect. And it allowed me to grow. What initially happened is that I had a very painful experience in the loss of my child that opened the door for me to seek what I didn't have as prominent in my life, which was spirituality. And that spirituality came through the people that I was around. And the people that I was around at that time were predominantly Christians. As I began to ask questions, what happened? How did I get here? What do I believe about death and dying now that I have a ancestor who came from my loins, who is now in another realm? How do I really feel about that? How do I experience life as a mother of one who has given birth to two and one is no longer here? How do I put in place the people that were involved in my life at that time? How do I evaluate what's really been going on? And so my spiritual journey began in that way. For the friends that I have, I'm so appreciative for what I learned from them, how I grew, where they invited me into places and spaces that I would not have gone into. I still understood that who they were and what they were doing was still very different from who I was and what I was attempting to find out. Now, I got a lot of answers that gave some parameters to my life that helped me to grow, that gave me the ability to not be fearful as I move forward. But in that, I also felt as though I was not necessarily accepted. And I had that happen many times, I'll put it that way, where I stepped forward to be a part of what was taking place, and for whatever reason, I just did not feel as though I was being accepted in a way that was understandable for me. It's kind of like, you fall in love, but when you fall in love with someone who understands, as we term it now, your love language, you usually have a pretty different outcome in that relationship, because you get that the person gets you and they get that you get them in a way that maybe others don't. So it wasn't that I wasn't being accepted, but I didn't feel as though people understood me maybe in the way that would have benefited me at that time. So I've grown, I've learned, I've done everything that other people do. You go to seminars, you go to this meeting location, that meeting location, and yet it's still something a little missing. Now, I do understand that, we have to live our lives. We have to live the life that we signed up to live, that we were able to recognize, maybe even from a very young age, that was going to differentiate us, to make us different from the next guy. But I didn't necessarily understand that the journey that I was on was a journey that did not take into consideration what someone else thought about my journey. It didn't take into consideration whether or not I should alter my journey because someone else didn't see it. And as a result, it put me on a really individual trajectory. At this point, I can appreciate it, but there were times when I really didn't get it. I may have discussed this with you guys several years ago, that I saw the story of Johnny Appleseed, and it was one particular scene in that movie that there was a party going on, and Johnny was at that party, and then he felt that call that required him to leave where he was and to pick up the belongings that he had, the things, the tools that he needed, and to move forward. And there was a longing in his heart. There was a pain. It was a painful moment. And even as a young child, I understood that there was a sacrifice that was being made that wasn't required for those people who got to stay. And in that moment, I recognized that was my life. It was painful. It was also very enlightening. And it was done in a way that I could not deny, because I had no context for why I felt the way that I did. I was much too young. Well, as my life unfolded and I began to be called to these amazing adventures of moving around the country and starting over again and learning new areas and becoming accustomed to the different environments that I found myself in. And it has been a benefit, because I do understand what I could not have understood another way, because I lived in these places. It was my residence for years on end. And so as I grew with an understanding. So this current journey that I'm on is one that I had not experienced before. For those that don't know, I am retired. I retired 1 year ago. And 1 year ago, I started on this journey that I am on this adventure, because pretty much nothing turned out the way that I thought that it would. So when you have set your life in order to have what you need for a particular period of time, and what you researched and looked into in every way that you could, the actual real life experience of these things was different, because at the moment that I retired, the administration in the United States was changing. And because of that change, there were a lot of people who were no longer as concerned about an American coming to their country, even if it was an African American female coming to their country, they didn't necessarily see that. What they saw was an American. And America at this point was not a cozy, comfy, welcoming, and inviting place pretty much for anybody on this globe who didn't look a particular way, or sound a particular way, or be of a particular gender. So for many people, my whole package was already wrong. I'm black, I'm a woman, and I am in a group now that is made up of retired people. So in leaving, in hopes to make another country my retirement home, a lot of thought went into that. And I had to take the time to look at everything from all perspectives. If I stay where I am, will I have enough to have and to expect longevity? Or will it just be futile because the country was no longer amenable to a regular working person's income, just a regular income? And as I watched the apartment that I live in have the exact same square footage measurements, my rent went up probably 150% in the time that I was there. Every single anniversary of that lease agreement, it went up. There was no new carpeting installed. There weren't those things that were happening, but the rent kept going up. And I realized that in order for me to have a quality life, I can't do it where I am, and I'm going to have to make some changes. And those changes have impacted everything that I've done over this past year. So the sound quality of the recordings has changed because I'm in a room that doesn't have a lot of furniture in it. It doesn't have a lot of furniture in it because my furniture is still in storage. So I'm making do with what I have. I had anticipated things being much different than they are, but they're not. This is where I am, and this is what's taking place. So as a result of that, it requires taking a deeper look inside, and that's where I've been. And that is what you're going to see as the major changes in how we are going to approach a diamond moment with Dr. Anita from this point forward. Because I have grown, I am continuing to grow, and I'm going to have to speak from you from that place in order for you to be able to get the benefit of what we're doing here. So I want you to look for the changes that are going to take place, and it's going to be a lot of them. The perspective that we're going to come from, and yes, we're going to continue because we do understand that becoming is a process, and that process has stages, and I also am going through those stages of the process of change, not to remain who I was, but to become who I am to be. And hopefully you'll stay on this journey with me as we move forward into growth and development, into looking at where we've been, what we've learned, and incorporating that information into where we are now, into the current journey that we are on, into this adventure that we're on together. Hopefully you'll stay with me. I want to invite you to visit the website because things are changing there. If you haven't joined me on FanBase or on NoomVibe, join me because things are changing there. I'm going to be on some different platforms than I've been on before because things are changing everywhere. But it's important for us to look at where we are now and determine where we want to go. And in that determining, how do we best utilize everything that we've experienced, whether it was planned or unplanned? How do we continue to bring into our lives the things that we want, not the things that we do not want? How do we move forward and have a new life? That's what we're going to be looking at as we move forward in a diamond moment with Dr. Anita. Stay with me.